Really like that. Oh, hey, John.
Thank you.
Give the man a microphone.
Fine. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
John Mellencamp just walked in. We can't hear you, John.
I wish. No, I'm a comedian.
Well, say something funny then.
I think you should sing more than me telling a joke.
Well, he's going to in a minute. Hey, good to see you, John. Huh? Sit, I can't hear you. Can we give that man a microphone?
Can't hear. Well, what do you want to hear? Nobody wants to hear me. What do you want to hear me for?
Well,
Well,
we were just enjoying some of the new album. And I understand you're bringing in a keyboard player today. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's her. Talk to her.
Okay, Carmen.
Well, we both have new albums. We can share the mic together.
Well,
I'd rather hear about yours.
But John's new album is not called Dance Like You Don't Need the Money.
It should have been, though. Can you sing that line? Dance
like you don't need the money.
there you go.
Yeah.
Should have had him on your album, Carmen.
I know.
Have you ever heard of a comedian named Kathleen Madigan?
Yes.
She's really funny.
She's really funny.
She's been here many times.
Yeah, we like Kathleen.
Yeah, she's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
She's from your hometown, right?
St. Louis,
Yes, that's
right?
right. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, we talk to her all the time. I just talked to her about a month ago. She's got a new album, too. It's not.
Well, we all have new albums. Do you have a new album?
I don't.
I don't either. Do you have a new
Well,
album?
everybody's trying to make
I'm
albums
still selling the
until
old
they go
one.
away.
Yeah. Good point.
Well, they may be going away. Who painted the cover?
Excuse me?
The cover of your album.
He did.
I did.
That's what I thought. It's great.
Thanks.
I didn't see it. I just saw it online, and I didn't say it. Didn't say who painted. Very good. Very cool. And the album's been up for what, a couple of weeks now?
No.
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 April 22nd. Wasn't
Like
that the
4 days.
Okay. What date?
4 days.
The Martina McBride tune.
Yeah.
It's been out
Would
for
you
a couple
talk to
weeks.
her? This is her time.
Okay, I can't because her
Oh, we
microphone.
want you to stay, don't we? I don't know. Okay. Hi.
Are you playing somewhere in Indianapolis?
I'm in Bloomington
That's
at the
where
Comedy
I
Attic.
I told her.
I
you
know.
guys
She said we could have
written in together this morning.
I have a rental if you need a ride back. And you don't have to pitch in for gas.
Does he have to sing at least one tune?
Yeah, just one. We will keep the radio. The radio doesn't work, so you have to sing.
What time did you get up?
5:30.
How did you get up here so quick? That's the time I got up.
Really?
I got here.
Did you drive yourself?
No.
No. He's Johnny Cooper. He didn't
This
have
is the
to.
furthest I ride in a car. Probably in 20 years to Indianapolis.
Really?
Do you still like driving? Don't you?
Not particularly.
Really?
No.
Oh God!
That was for kids. You know, when kids got keys and it was like fun, and now you get to be an old person. It's like I don't want to drive.
Well, and we were. We were actually talking to Hillary Clinton a while back, and she was saying the one thing she missed: she never got to drive anymore.
Now she does. She can drive all she wants now.
She might be driving with Uber for all we know. I'm not trying to get political.
Wow.
No, but I thought you loved driving. No, you don't like to think while you drive?
Where did you get a thought like that?
I don't know.
You know, I've known you a long time. You've had a lot of funny thoughts over the years.
I just
He
thought
has?
you'd enjoy. I love driving still. I don't want to get in a self-driving car.
Of all the people in this room, you need a driver more than anybody.
I've been telling you that for years.
Yeah.
I've never crashed.
Hey, I didn't even see you sitting there, man.
I'm sitting right here.
You think I'm unobservant?
I know, but I wasn't paying attention. How's it going?
Can we get John a microphone? Why don't you,
Squeak about it.
Ross?
There's
Can
one
you?
over there.
There's one over there.
Share with Ross.
Here, come on over here.
You want
there
to
we
get that
go.
chair? You can have that.
No, I'm
I was really excited to share a mic with you, but
don't like waiting.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
don't like waiting. He doesn't like driving. He doesn't like waiting.
Wait.
We're ready to go. We're going to get a keyboard in here in just a matter of moments, as well as a microphone. John Mellencamp is our guest. John's new album has been out for 4 days. I heard the other song a couple of weeks ago, the one we just played a couple snippets of, called Grandview. It's great. So what? Can you hear me now, John?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I got a question that's not about you. What do you think about printing the lyrics back in the time when there were albums? Are you a fan of that?
Not particularly, no. I always thought it was kind of self-grandizing to print the lyrics as if you had something to say.
No, but I just Jackson Browne once said if you're going to print the lyrics, just write poems.
Yeah, that's
People
right.
can't hear them. What's the point?
Yeah.
Every song, you gotta.
Well, that's kind of the charm of it, isn't it? You know, I mean, because most people don't really hear the song anyway. They hear the chorus and they hear the beat and they hear the tambourine, and then after that, they're lost.
You ever forget your own songs when you're up there?
Do I ever forget my own song? I don't even know my own song.
Do you mumble lyrics or make up new ones?
I've only made 25 albums. I mean, 25 times 10, that's 250 songs.
When people come up to you and they say, "This is my favorite song," if it's one of yours that you don't like, what do you say?
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Thank you.
Do you ever change the lyrics to your songs during sound check just to keep amused?
I don't go to sound check.
Who sings for you?
Andy.
Andy York, the guitar player?
Yeah.
Does he do a pretty good John Mellencamp?
Oh, he does better than me.
Listen,
No.
If you don't like wasting time, I say
here. Hang on a second.
this is like the Gallagher 2 tour.
No, we've
go
got
out
it. When you got guys in the band that have been in there 40 years, why on earth would you need to go to sound check? I mean, these guys got it. Mike and Andy have got it. You know, so what do I need to go there for? To yell at people?
Tell them a couple jokes.
No,
Get 'em
just
psyched
to
for the
yell
show.
at people. I
Give-
mean, I
give
know what
them
I'm
the
going to
mean
do.
face. Give them the mean face. That's
I
right.
used to give them the mean face. That's why I quit going.
Do you remember this? You were doing a sound check for a July 4th show. It was a huge thing. You were on national television that night. We were there all day, and your drummer was just here telling the story. Your old drummer, Kenny Aronoff, who happens to have an identical twin.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened?
No.
You went out for a sound
I
check.
barely remember Kenny, but go ahead.
You went out for sound check, and Kenny's brother, who I think is a psychiatrist or something, was sitting at the drum kit instead of Kenny, which you didn't know because they look exactly the same. And it didn't go well because he can't play the drums. You don't remember that at all?
No.
It's an absolute fact.
No.
I was there. It happened. Kenny was just telling that story. Did you read his book?
No.
He's says very kind things about you.
Would you like a copy?
Christy's got one right in
I
her hand.
happen to have one.
He sent me a copy, but I haven't read it. It's hard telling what he might say. I like Kenny though. Kenny and I always got along great.
Yeah, he said great things about you.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I love the drums on this new album, by the way. This you don't have headphones on, so you can't hear it. I could play part of your new project for you.
I think he's heard it before.
You've heard it. It's when we come back. We're gonna. Are we bringing a keyboard in here? I think John's gonna play for us. We'll take a short break. How about that? And we'll get this all. We'll get it all set up. John Mellencamp is our guest. Be right back. It is the Bob and Tom Show.
Hey, 846 at Q95. It's the Bob and Tom Show.
It certainly is. We have a great guest in the studio, John Mellencamp. We'll get back to John in a matter of seconds. Also, Carmen Lynch, who's in Bloomington at the Comedy Attic. She's right over there. We'll meet them both in a moment. Welcome back to the Bob and Tom Show. We are worldwide on American Forces Radio and coast to coast on a bunch of great radio stations. We are kind of fumbling with a bunch of electronic stuff in here. And there we go. Look at that smile. That's Carmen Lynch. She's just been plugged in.
Hi.
Hi, Carmen. How are
Plugged
you?
in.
Yep, ready to go.
Also plugged in, I think we have the keyboard player, Troye Kinnett. Can you give me a tinkle on that, baby? Okay, that's not. Look at that.
is.
There we go. Give me another shot at that, Troy. I think. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you very much. And then let's see. That would be Chick McGee, your sports buddy. That's the lovely Christy Lee with a broken foot.
Hello,
leg.
everyone.
And then let's see. Somebody's smoking in the room. It's not Josh Arnold.
No,
you're not a smoker. Are you?
I'm not. No. It doesn't bother me.
Never have
It
been.
doesn't bother me.
Can you smell that?
Yeah.
That smells good.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the
It
smell.
smells.
Me too.
Last time I smelled it, I was
Really?
in
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
See, I can't smell it at all. Oh, yeah, I could smell it in Las Vegas when you walk in those casinos.
Yeah.
But you
Oh,
forget.
man, even that even turns me off.
Because you can't smoke anywhere. John Mellencamp is here with us having his complimentary
I smoked
cigarette.
in the White House.
Cigarettes, though, right?
Yeah.
Not a Willie Nelson.
No, but I mean, I smoked in the White House.
Has anyone said, no, you can't smoke here?
Yes, and the guy wanted me to sign to his record company. I walked in and I said, "You got an ashtray?" He goes, "Oh, you can't smoke in here." I go, "I can't record it for you guys either," and got up and left.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that-
There you go.
That was pretty much the long and short of that of that meeting.
All right.
I mean, I'm not advocating that people smoke. Believe me, I wish I didn't. But since I do, I enjoy it, and it's going to cut my life short. I know it, but I'm going to enjoy it.
Are you brand loyal?
Yes.
Same brand since you were a kid?
No. after I had my heart attack.
You did the heart attack lights.
Why did that ever make everyone laugh?
Not that we're laughing at you, Mr. Cooper. Cooper. Sorry, Cooper. Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
No, he's not.
We were calling him Johnny Cooper earlier this morning because we were hoping Roscoe came along today. But Roscoe can't be here until the coffee gets here.
No, Roscoe has.
Did the cigarettes take Roscoe out?
No, Roscoe has left the building. He is in prison.
Oh, poor Roscoe.
Yeah, he's spending time somewhere.
Gonna give
But
him
you know, it's funny because I when we were doing that, I never thought about anybody listening.
It's the only way to get
That's the
through
way
this
I look
show.
at it, too, John.
Yeah.
I never thought, and I remember I was on vacation.
It was Christmas. I don't know how long ago you were here. But
I
it
can
was
tell
at
you because I
Christmas.
was pregnant with my second child.
Okay, so
It wasn't me. I haven't seen
15
you 3
years ago?
years.
I know, when you. It was like 15 years ago.
You were
Yeah.
calling in as the character, and I was telling someone the other day how funny you were, and they have this image of as kind of a contemporary Woody Guthrie, which is true, but they just don't see Woody getting up on stage and, hey, before I get to this next great song, I'm going to tell a couple quick jokes.
Well, they weren't really jokes. It was just a character.
But it was good.
It was like
Funny.
but he's in prison, so
Well, that's
not
sad.
getting out.
That's characters. Is that kind of a person you grew up with in your mind?
Yeah, a bunch of guys I know. But when you're on, she knows, when you're on tour, you meet all kind of people and you hear all kind of ridiculous things, and people they don't know what to say to you, so they just say something, anything, and sometimes I just look at them like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I got a weird email yesterday that said, "You're so funny, but I don't find women funny, so I'm thinking you were probably really a dude."
Are you serious?
Well, right there's your first problem. Email.
Oh, you don't email?
No.
No.
I don't email. I don't do any of that. I'll text and I'll use the telephone.
Do you carry a cell phone of your own, or do you?
Yeah, I do. I have kids, and I have a girlfriend, so they need to get a hold of me to want that stuff like money.
You want to take this one, Tom?
Yeah. I've been down that road. I usually answer the phone by going, "Now what?" Sort of saves a lot of time.
How much? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I thought, once kids grew up, that was it. No.
No. What's this phrase? You're only as happy as your. What is it? You're only as
Don't
happy
look
as
at
your
me.
happiest child.
Oh, no.
Well, Christy, I've got sort of 3 flights of children. So the current ones are doing great. They're all doing.
You have
just fine.
babies.
I got a baby too, and that's fun.
Yeah.
She's a blast. She loves to live. She's very happy to be around all the
And
time.
I'm glad I'm past all that. I'm sorry. I don't.
I like babies too.
Well, you'll have grandkids soon.
Soon.
I don't know. Your kids are old enough.
What are you talking about soon? I've had grandkids since I was 30.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You have different flights of kids, too. I
Yeah.
get
I have a
confused.
45-year-old daughter.
That's right.
So
The time has flown, hasn't it?
We're speaking, by the way, with John Mellencamp. I'm just kind of getting high on the tobacco smoke.
you'll like it. You'll get used to
Smells
it.
kind of good. No,
It really does smell good. What kind is that?
They don't have any chemicals in it. So
Organic.
that's what after I had my heart attack, I started reading up on cigarettes, and it was just like, not that any of them are healthy, but
Now, I know that, for example, you're friends with Willie Nelson. He's a great gentleman. I've met Willie on several occasions, and the story is that Willie apparently is going to come out with his own brand of marijuana, which is great.
we already
but-
did.
Yeah, that it's going to hit the retail market apparently in California when it becomes legal. With, have you ever been approached about doing any kind of a product endorsement?
Yeah, all the time, but I just say no.
Would it be electronic equipment or microphones or?
I can't imagine what I would.
Like mayonnaise. What do they want you to
No.
endorse?
No. All kind of stuff.
I'm just
That's
curious.
a bizarre
Pickle
product.
juice.
No, I'm just saying. What would?
Well,
be appropriate?
about 10 years ago, I did that car commercial. And man, did I get shit about that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're on the radio, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The FCC is not doing their job anyway. They're not listening, so screw those guys and forget about the FCC.
Now, we have. Can you? Oh, I have no idea what they're doing. We have Troye Kinnett in here, and we're going to do a tune in a few minutes. I know we have to do a little bit of adjusting of this and that. You've been, you were just on the Today Show. Was it yesterday?
Day before yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah. This is what was your very first television appearance? Was it the famous Ed Grimley thing?
No. No, that was like 1982. I'd been making records since 75.
What was the first television show?
I think the first television show I remember doing was on Circus Tarzan.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a local morning talk show with some woman. That's all I remember. And I remember being like, a child. I was a child. I was like 20 years old.
Were you with the band?
No, I was lip syncing.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what song?
No. No, but I remember looking and.
I mean, he remembered it at the time, Christy. He wasn't.
Well, of course he remembered it.
He wasn't doing the words to hurt so good.
Do we have to fight in front of company?
We have been fighting all day.
Can we all get along?
Okay,
No.
sorry.
For 20 seconds?
Wow.
When did I become the voice of reason? How does that happen?
I'm sorry. Oh, here we go.
That is terrible.
We have the decaf here,
right?
so we have some fresh decaf from Mr. Mellencamp. We have to do a couple quick things here. Mother's Day is just around the corner. I know several moms.
Sherry's Berries.
And I'm going to get...
Sure you do.
Several flights.
Now, Christy, just because
You know what? You
my
brought
children
that up.
come from various mothers doesn't mean, how do you know your two don't?
I never thought I'd...
They came from me. I know that for a
Oh, you
fact.
were there.
I was there, yes.
Well, that makes sense, I guess.
What's the old joke? I was born with my mom because I wanted to be near my mother or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sherry's Berries, this is a really cool thing. We got a bunch of them in the other room. We had them until we all ate them. $19.99 plus shipping. And how about this? Double the berries for $10 right now. Go to berries.com, type in the code Bob and Tom. The only way to get this done, once again, $19.99 plus shipping for Mother's Day, which is when? A week from
Sunday, the
Okay.
14th.
They're going to keep it on the Sunday thing then?
The second Sunday of May,
Okay,
yes.
berries.com, Beries, berries.com. Click on the microphone, type in Bob and Tom. This deal will not last long. Mother's Day is just around the corner. Don't forget, maybe your sister's a mother, your mother's a mother, your girlfriend's a mother, your mom, wait a minute, your wife's
They
a
would
mother.
all be mothers, Tom.
Yeah, right. So they all need to be covered. I'm just, hey,
Sure.
look, I'm trying to help. Once again, check it out at Sherry's Berries. We're going to come back. I think we're going to get these guys plugged in. John Mellencamp has a great new album out there. Do you mind if John Kennedy, he doesn't have headphones on. I'm just playing just a taste. Listen to this intro.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah.
Those guitars are awesome. God, I just love that. Right
sounds
away,
great.
it just grabs you. It's so cool. It's a shame you can't hear it, John.
Yeah.
It really sounded good. You'd like it a lot.
Our headphones right there. If you like.
It's okay. We'll come back and John will sing something if we get these things plugged in. This is the Bob and Tom Show.
9:02 at Q95. It's the Bob and Tom Show.
It certainly is. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to get back to John Mellencamp in about 1 minute. Christy Lee has a quick forecast.
Well, I wish I could say it was a dry forecast. Rain today, windy, high 55, rain overnight, low 40. Rain early on Saturday. The mini marathon's going to be a little wet. Then variable cloudiness clearing up. Sunny on Sunday with a high of 60. Weather brought to you by Holiday World Splash and Safari. Currently, it's 43.
She did not drive Mr. Mellencamp up here today, but she is going to be back in Bloomington. It's comedienne Carmen Lynch. She'll be at the legendary Comedy Attic, which is one of the great rooms in the United States of America.
Absolutely.
It's a great comedy room. Wait a minute, your mic's off. What's going on? Try it again. Okay, we're trying to get. We'll get Carmen plugged in. In the meantime, I will remind you that the possibility of winning $1,000 an hour is actually going to be arriving today. Also, we have a little contest on the Bob and Tom app. You could find yourself winning some delightful stuff from Steven Singer Jewelers. We got a lot going on here. And John Mellencamp and the band are going to be going out this summer. We'll find out more about that in just a second. And I will again remind you that John's new album is out there. Remember albums and some great music on this. And we're going to hear from John. Actually, they're getting plugged in right over there, so we'll talk to John and hear him sing in just a matter of moments. I think we got Carmen back plugged in. This is the Bob and Tom Show. We are coming to you live from the Napa Auto Parts Studios. Thanks very much for joining us. It's a special day. We have a little bit of smoke in the room, which I'm kind of liking. It reminds me of the old days.
Oh, yeah. Remember when we used to have fun?
Yeah. That's because John Mellencamp is here with us. And along with Carmen Lynch. You're
Hi, I'm testing the mic.
It's working.
Yeah, there you
good.
go. That sounds good. You're
Love
leaning
that.
over and taking in the smoke?
Yeah, I love secondhand smoke. It's my favorite.
Reminds you of your mom, you were saying.
Yeah. Well, she smoked before she got pregnant with me, and then she stopped. But
You ruined her fun.
But that goes against because you're 6 feet tall.
I know. I should have smoked if I wanted to be
You're
short.
6 foot tall?
What? Yeah, I'm 6 feet tall.
Stand
yeah.
up.
There we go.
You are 6 foot tall.
Yeah, she's a tall gal. And we have in the studio a keyboard player, Troye Kinnett, a longtime friend of the show. And Troye is currently wearing the, what is the name of the harmonica shoulder holster thing?
The Iron Maiden.
It's such an odd... you never saw the thing where David Letterman had a piece of corn on the cob put on one of those? That was funny.
I did see that.
Kind of made famous by Bob Dylan and Neil Young, but this gives you the hands-free use of the harmonica. John Mellencamp is here with us, and John, thanks for coming in. And a wonderful new collection of songs and a great cover painting. John's new album, Sad Clowns and Hillbillies.
How long has it been since I've been up here?
Long
A
time.
few years. You were here just a few years ago. Pop that mic up. I can't hear you.
I said, how long has it been since I've been here?
A long time. No, it's just been a few years. No need to
I don't know.
pick an actual date. I have no idea.
Time is just relative, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about all that.
Are you smoking pot over there?
No, I don't do that.
John, you produced your new project. You're going to be going out this summer on a tour.
Yeah, it's a record that I made with Carlene Carter, and Carlene and I met. I did the soundtrack for a movie that Meg made called Ithaca, and I had a couple songs that I needed someone to sing, so I got Carlene to come and sing it. And then Steve King and I were working on had a musical that was traveling around the country, so Carlene had a part in that. So I got to know Carlene pretty well, and then I just asked her to come on tour with us, open up. And then while we were on tour, we did 130 shows together. And then I walked off stage one night and I just said, "Hey, Carlene, let's go make a record together." She said, "Okay." And so, and we've been kind of musical friends ever since. So this tour that's coming up is Carlene will come out and play with a couple of local girls.
Lily and Madeline. Yeah, they're
amazing.
great.
They're going to sing with Carlene, and then Emmy Lou Harris will come out and play, and then I'll come out and play.
All right.
And then hopefully at the end we'll all come out and play together.
Oh, that'll be great.
That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And the new in the world we live in, the album is almost a lost thing.
Oh, I think this will be the last time that when I make a record again, there won't be any physical copy of it anymore. I mean, I was just with Monty Littman, the guy that owns the record company. He said this will probably be the last physical record that you'll have to make.
Man, that's kind of sad.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, who knew? But the art is still out there. The music is still out there. It's
Well,
still great.
but see, here's the deal. If the FCC would have done their job, which they don't, we wouldn't be in this situation. Because here's the way it is. When radio first started, people owned individual radio stations, and they played music. And then the artists were going, "Hey, you're playing music and selling advertisement. We need to share in the revenue." So the FCC got involved, and ASCAP and BMI. And then guess what happened? They invented a delivery system called television. And so whatever laws were in effect for radio went straight to television. So if NBC played something, we all got paid, right? But then search engines became the next delivery system, and everybody went, "Wow, what happened? We don't understand this. It's just another delivery system that should follow the same damn laws that radio follows and that television follows."
You don't get paid if it's on the internet?
No, you don't make it. No, are you kidding me? I don't get paid for songs on the internet. On that. Look, search engines are lawless places. I mean, they show all kind of stuff, make all kind of money. I mean, I have for years done stuff. Not done stuff because I didn't want to do an endorsement, but if you go to certain pages, there I am, and right next to me is like, Heinz Ketchup or whatever. It's like, it looks like I'm endorsing Heinz Ketchup, but I don't get any money.
I know Don Henley was saying that he wouldn't encourage his kids to go into music because the way it works is
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
weird.
You could. There's no way.
Now, on a bright note, since this is radio, We're paying.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're paying?
Well, the radio and TV stations, as you said, are paying royalties for artists.
Yes,
And I don't know who made the arrangement, but it was done a long time ago.
Yes, you are. But how long do you think terrestrial radio is going to be around?
Hopefully
a long time.
Long enough to get several children through college.
Yeah.
You might be in dream circles, my man.
Yeah.
Because you know,
a nice 401k.
there's too much advertisement on terrestrial radio. My kids won't listen to it. You know, it's just like.
Fortunately, we have fans. We're trying to hang in there.
Well, see, and that's the good deal about me too, is that we've been around long enough that we've developed a fan base. But could you imagine trying to start what you guys have started now?
Nope.
On terrestrial radio, it's not going to happen.
Now, when we talk about your fan base, this is an odd change of. What country are you the most well known in, other than the United States?
My house.
Not in the country.
That's a country, man. We have our own laws.
You've seceded.
How do the police feel about that?
I am the police.
Okay, good to know.
Oh, so they feel just fine about it.
Yeah, the police like it, and let me see. I'm the only guy there, so I get along with everybody. The mayor gets along.
Have you ever gone to some foreign country and as you're getting off the plane, some record guy comes up and goes, "By the way, this particular song was a huge hit here," and you're going, "I didn't. What was that one? I don't remember that."
No, the first time that I had a hit record was 1977 in Australia, and I couldn't even, at the time, I couldn't even fill up the Vogue.
Mm-hmm.
But I went down to Australia. I went down to Sydney, and when we landed, there was all these kids, like the Beatles were showing up. And I said, what is all this? And they go, you. I go, me? What are all these people doing here? But, it was 1977, and music was very important to people at the time. Even though the song was a silly, juvenile song that was a hit, it was still surprising. That was the first time that I had ever experienced,
Had to feel pretty cool.
At the time, at 23, I was like, yeah, this is cool.
This is what we did this for.
Yeah.
This is the sex and drugs and rock and roll part.
Yeah.
We're hoping. John Mellencamp is our guest, and Troye Kinnett over there. Do you guys want to play one? Did you have the? What is that? Do you have the?
You ready? Yeah. I mean, if you want us to play, we'll play. What's the Grandview? You ready? Somebody count 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's not how you do it.
Wait, 1.
That was a little
2,
fast.
Oh, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Just an old country boy wearing my Oshkosh boots. Walk by the trailer factory every day on my way to school. Early on in life, the only thing I want to do was buy me a trailer and move it down to Grandview. I got out of high school, got on a Whirlpool, bought me a car, 2 guitars and everything. Me and Patty fall in love before the summer was through. I started thinking about trailers and highlights in Grandview. It was a scorching summer night, we just left the dairy bar, sitting on Ridgeland Road in the front seat of my car. I said, Patty, if you marry me, babe, I'll take good care of you. I'll get a brand new trailer and move it down to Grandview. She said, your wedding song, well, it sounds real nice, and I can sure get off on sleeping with you at night. But if you want me, baby, I'll tell you what you gotta do. I want a brick home like my mother's, and I'm not moving into Grandview. Well, it's been a lot of years, a lot of debt, a lot of pain. Youngest baby's moving out when she gets married next spring. When the bash is over, tell you what I'm gonna do. I got my trailer picked up, gonna move it down to Grandview. I got this 28 by 70 double wide. We can slide it on in there, honey, and chalk those wheels real good. I want it set nice and level, and don't get no mud on my front porch, 'cause the son of a bitch is brand spanking new, baby. So stick it into Grandview. Stick it into Grandview. Slide it on in there, honey. Stick it into Grandview.
Right. John Mellencamp, live in the studios.
I'm jealous. 28 by 70. I grew up in a 14 by 70. That's twice the size. That's nice.
He had high hopes, didn't he?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he had high hopes too.
That's beautiful. If you don't mind, I'm just going to play just a little taste of the album version, just a little bit, so people can get a feel for what's coming. That's a terrific song, and this arrangement is so great. Oh, that's the kind of the guitars.
Yeah.
Tasty. They're great. Not that your guitar playing is inferior, Mr. Mellencamp. I certainly enjoyed the nice feel.
I am like Woody Guthrie in that fact that his guitar sounded like he had barbed wire for strings, and that's the way I play.
No, it's great. No, that's
it sounded great.
A beautiful version of it. I think the radio will love the other one. While you light up, I am really enjoying this smoke. Could we have you come in more often? I got to remind everybody, because Mother's Day is around the corner. We don't want you to forget about your mom. We've been talking about this for about a week now. Mother's Day. How do you say the best thing to your mom? How about some flowers from Pro Flowers? $19.99 plus shipping and handling. We'll cover it for you. We can make that super superior, as my old principal used to say.
Super superior?
She used to always say we can make everything super superior. 100 blooms, free glass vase, $19.99. We'll throw in for just $10. They will throw in gourmet chocolates. You get to eat those. Distract your mom and eat the chocolate. Proflowers.com. Use the code Bob and Tom. Only way to get it, once again, 100 blooms, just like those. They've been here for a week. Look how pretty they are.
Yeah.
Proflowers.com. Click on the microphone, top right corner. Type in Bob and Tom. That's Proflowers.com. Once again, this little microphone, you'll find it right there on your smartphone. And type in Bob and Tom. Stunning bouquets. They sell out fast, so order those today. We're coming right back with John Mellencamp. This is the Bob and Tom Show.
9:23 at Q95. It's the Bob and Tom Show.
We're hanging out with John Mellencamp. Talk to John in just a second. Christy has a quick forecast.
Q95 weather, light rain, windy, rain overnight down to 40, rain early, variable cloudiness late on Saturday, high 58. Weather's brought to you by the Market District, currently 43.
Thank you very much. Also here with us is Carmen Lynch, the lovely comedian.
Yes.
She's in Bloomington at the Comedy Attic, which truly is one of the best comedy clubs in the country.
So fun.
And she has the extended microphone stand. She's a very tall woman. How about that? Welcome back to the Bob and Tom Show. That music you hear is from our in-studio guest. It's John Mellencamp. His new project. It is what they call an album. This is the song he just played. This is the studio version from Sad Clowns and Hillbillies. It's called Grandview. John is sitting in the studio with us, enjoying a cigarette, and we are enjoying. I miss secondhand smoke. Maybe someone should make a candle.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Like a secondhand smoke candle. You could
sure
put in
they
your
do, Tom.
John, it's good to see you again.
Well, thanks for having me.
I have if you were a football player, I'd ask you, what's the best movie about football? Is there a good movie about being in your position as a musician? Is there a movie that when you were a kid you liked or you like now that sort of tells the story of what it's like to be a musician?
Not really. I've seen some, I've seen some interesting documentaries. Like "Don't Look Back" was a good documentary on, Dylan touring Europe in '65 or whatever. But, you know, the further we get away from the original, the worse it gets. I mean, you know, I see a lot of stuff that just reminds me. Remember the thing behind the music?
Oh, yeah.
It was always the same story. You know, we got together, then we became drug addicts, and then we started fighting, and then we broke up.
We lost it all.
And we lost it all.
Yeah.
And now we're going to reunite for the Happy Together tour. I mean, that's with 5 other bands just like us.
Yeah.
John, you've your new album. Do you have any good stories about writing any of the songs? Was there any moments where you were?
Well, writing for me has like really become. You know, when I first started out as a kid, you know, when I got my first record deal, I didn't even own a guitar because I went to New York to be a painter. I wanted to get in the Art Student League, and you know, you had to pay money to do that. And I was also singing in local bands around here, and we had a demo of the local band, and I dropped it off at a couple record companies and some management agencies. And it turned out that the Art Student League wanted money, but the record companies were paying money. And back then they were handing out record deals to young guys like, you know, like a cigarette tree. And so I started making records strictly by accident. And back then, I didn't know how to write songs. I mean, I grew up writing songs in public. That's why my first, you know, 40 records were shit.
I think we'd beg to differ on that.
So anyway, but then all of a sudden something happened, and I became a conduit for, you know, a muse. And now when I write songs, it's like they just come to me in full form. And like there's a song on the new record called Easy Targets. And I remember writing that song because it was just such a, you know, a typical way of, I was painting. I'm a painter, you know. Mm-hmm. And I was painting, and this voice goes, hey, you need to put down the paintbrush and write this song. And it's like, no, I don't want to. I'm painting. And then, so I kept painting. The voice goes, hey, silly, you better write this song down. So I just picked up my phone, and I sang the song in full, lyric, melody, the whole thing into my phone. Then I set my phone down, went back to paint. Took 5 minutes, maybe. Then I found the song like 5 or 6 days later, and I go, when did I write that? Because that's really good. I'm going to record that.
Wow, it's like the famous story of Keith Richards and the dun dun da da da.
Yeah,
he was on a tape recorder. Didn't remember doing it on an airplane.
Wow.
Yeah,
So do you always hear the music, or do you just write the lyrics and then the music comes?
When you're a kid, you know, when we were back in the 70s and the 80s, it was hard. You
Yeah.
know, because there was all of this, you know, I don't know what, you know, unless you just come out of the womb like Elvis Costello, being able to write songs, or, you know, there's a couple other guys that have been that way. Like I talked to Dylan about it, and he didn't know how to write songs when he first started. I said, when you went to New York, Bob, what was your plan? He said, he started laughing. He goes, I have a plan. I can only play 12 songs. You know, he said, I went to New York and I learned other people's songs, and I started writing my own songs. And so his story, of course, he did a lot better than me, but you know, he learned how to write songs in public. I learned how to write songs in public.
Like, if I could interrupt for a second, you when you were in like local bands, what songs were you covering? Dylan kind of came up, you know, worshiping Woody Guthrie, and you guys have kind of now, you're both, I think, have inherited the Woody Guthrie tradition, certainly, and are keeping it alive. But what kind of songs were you playing? Were you pop songs?
Yeah, I was playing in bar bands, and we were doing, you know, stuff like, couldn't I just tell you the way that I feel? Could I keep it bottled up inside?
Wow.
You know, or take care of business.
Really?
Every day.
BTO?
BTO.
Yeah. So, you know, we were playing in bars and fraternities and sororities, and that's what that's what people wanted to hear, and they were popular songs at the moment.
Which ones
Saturday
did you like?
Night's All Right for Fighting. You know, I can remember playing all
Really?
that stuff. Yeah.
What was do you remember any of the favorites you had?
Favorite? What?
Favorites of those cover songs?
Yeah, I always liked doing Search and Destroy by Iggy Pop.
The last time we talked to Iggy, we had to hit that button a lot. The one that stops everything from happening. Now, are you going to be doing any cover songs in your tour this summer?
Yeah, I'm probably do a Johnson song called what's the name of that song, Troy? Johnson.
Robert Johnson?
No,
Yeah.
Stones My Past.
Stones in My Pathway. I'll probably end up doing Stones in My Pathway by Robert Johnson.
Your cover of Wild Nights is one of my favorite songs.
Well, see, that was a total accident.
That and the beautiful woman, I think she sings
Michelle
bass.
Endegocello.
God, well, how did that happen? That is such a great.
Well, that whole thing was a mistake. She had never heard the song Wild Night, and I was playing it on the guitar, and somebody else in the band jumped in, and she's a bass player. And then she just started going do 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 and playing this real crazy bass part. And so I just looked in at the engineer and I went, roll it, and he did. And so that was it. We cut it, and that was it. There was nobody singing or anything. And as we're mixing the album, the engineer goes, "Have you listened to you guys playing Wild Night since you did it?" And I said, "No." He said, "You might want to listen to that." So I listened to it, and we had a really nice groove going. So we had to call her up and say, "Hey, you got to come back to Indiana because you got to sing on this record." And it was like, what record? I thought I sang on everything I was going to sing on. And I said, no. And so she came back, and we duetted that song. And it went to #1. It was a #1 record. And Van Morrison was such a good guy that he never thanked me, never said, F you or anything, So I made him more money than he made on the song. And
You ever met him?
No. I'm a curmudgeon, as you can tell. But I hear he out curmudgeons me.
Yeah, we were talking to Bob Seger, who, in his famous live album, mentions Van Morrison as his main man.
Oh, listen, musically, I love Van Morrison.
We were talking to Mr. Seeger, and I said, I assumed he must have met him because he does 2 covers on that one album.
Right.
Because never met the guy. His music's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, his music. I think he's like he pretty much South England, and I don't know. Everybody that knows him just kind of goes
back off.
Yeah, and they could pretty much say the same thing about me too. So I understand.
By the way, we are.
Do you like that,
John Mellencamp?
I don't like it, but it's just what happened. It's what happened. I've always stood up for myself. I've always had an opinion, and I've never liked to be pushed around. Because listen, I got pushed around early. Johnny Cougar was a big push around, and once that happened, it was like nobody's ever going to do that to me again.
I have heard from people that have known you forever. They've said it this way. This may come out wrong, and I apologize in advance. They always say, "Look, John doesn't act this way because he's a rock star. He has always been this way." I know guys that have known you since you were a kid.
Yeah, it just has nothing to do with being,
not being famous or being
having success with songs. I've always been kind of
headstrong.
Yeah, and I've got a son, Spec, that is just like. No wonder my parents hated me. I got to tell you, I got a son, Spec, that is like, he's me to the T, and it's just like, Spec, you just got to quit doing this stuff. He's always fighting somebody. He's not happy unless he's got an argument with somebody or, going to kick some guy. I'm going to kick that guy. I hate that guy. I'm going to kick that guy's ass. Spec, one of these days, somebody's going to pull out a gun and shoot you. You know that, right? This is not like when I grew up, where, guys use fists. I mean, people use weapons on you. I don't care about that. I call him up and go, "Hey, Spec, how you doing?" "I'm doing fine, Dad. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling."
Sounding more.
Would you stop worrying about me? God damn it! I'll take care of myself.
John Mellencamp is our guest, and he's going to be going out on a big tour. We're looking forward to that this summer. And what's the longest break you've taken in your life? Once you became sort of a rock star, if you will.
I quit twice. I didn't tell anybody, but 1988, I'd had it. I'd seen through it. I was tired of being on the beer and circus tour, which is the sheds. Mm-hmm. You go to these sheds, and it was just a lineup. It'd be like me one night, Sting the next night, and Bob Seger the next night. And I don't like playing in front of drunk people. And I don't like watching guys getting fist fights and throwing up and smacking their girlfriend. See, I've seen all of that stuff from stage. I just don't like it. So in '88, I wrote a song called Pop Singer. Mm-hmm. Never wanted to be no pop singer, never wanted to write no pop songs. And everybody hated me for that because, you're biting the hand that feeds you and all this bull. But it was how I felt, so that's what I wrote. And so for 3 years, I didn't play. So then I decided to go back out and start playing again, and then I had a heart attack. And so then there was 3 more years I took off. But having that heart attack was great because I was married to Elaine, and we had 2 little boys, and we were able to spend, 3.5, almost 4 years. We didn't leave the house. We even had TV shows we watched. It was really nice to be a normal person and not be, to be just like you, just like the people listening. We were just people, as opposed to being, some kind of monkey on a string, which is, I have a girlfriend who told me that yesterday she was somewhere and somebody asked to take her picture and she told him no, and the guy got offended. And she just went, no, thank you. And it was like, what do you mean, no, thank you? Because we live in this world of selfies, which is like, because it's not really about me or you getting our picture taken. It's about them. I had my picture taken with so-and-so. Click. And it's like, it's so
it's like the falseness
upside
of
down.
Friends. You don't really have that many Facebook friends. Those they're not going to show up at your funeral.
Yeah, that's exactly. And, who wants to know what I ate anyway? I mean, I don't even like people to know where I'm at.
You
Preaching to the choir in this room.
You have a lot in common with me. My goal is to be invisible.
Yeah,
but no one's going to come see John Mellencamp at the band. Oh, by the way, John doesn't want you to know where he is. He's not on the stage.
Well, I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I don't. What is it all? The only thing I do is text to my kids and to business people, and other than that, that's it.
Again, I can remember one of the things I like is when you sometimes you'll go to a concert and you can tell the person on stage really wants to be there. I remember the last time I saw Tom Petty, it was very clear that he and the band were having the best time ever. They were really, and they're playing, of course, brilliantly, but they were having so much fun. And I can remember seeing you live and realizing that you guys were telling some jokes back and forth, but when the music would start, you were grinning ear to ear and really enjoying it.
Well, so I got to tell you, I get paid not for going on stage. I would play for free. I get paid for leaving home. I get paid for, like, getting on a plane, staying in a hotel. That's what I'm getting paid for. The time that I'm on stage, I would do that for free in the girls. I mean, that's how it started. I wasn't making any money when I was playing in those local rock bands. We just did it because we loved it.
Do you remember the names of any of them, by the way?
Oh, yeah, they were great.
Would you mind sharing them with us?
Are you talking about the girls?
No, the rock bands.
That's what I thought you were asking.
Sorry.
Don't tell him the girl's name, John.
Don't you dare fire that back at me.
I won't. But I remember one from Indianapolis. Her name was Christy.
No, sorry, I meant.
I thought that was just between us.
Listen, there's a 20-year cutoff of being a
Statute of
20
limitations is over.
Yeah, that's right. A 20-year cutoff of being a gentleman.
Have you met Ava? She's 18.
I'm not Donald Trump.
I'm kidding.
The name of the bands, what were they? Do you remember any of them?
Yeah, I was in a band called the Crepe Soul. I was in a band.
The Crepe?
Yeah, there's a funny story that went with it.
Oh, like desert boots that have the crepe soul
have the
on
crepe
them?
soul.
Yeah, I got it.
It was like a soul band, and we had like 3 names. I can't remember what it was. And we were in a rehearsal room that had a hardwood floor, and we couldn't decide on the name. I was 14. So we flipped a coin, and if we would be the Crepe Soul if the dime landed on its side. And we flipped it, and it rolled around and got caught in a groove in the wood, and it landed on its side.
Wow!
So it was destined that we're the Crepe Soul. I mean, because we couldn't have done that again in a million years. Then I was in a band called Snake Pit Banana Barn for a little bit, then they kicked me out. And I was in a band, the one that I was in the longest was a band called the Mason Brothers. You remember Asher Ben Ruby?
Sure.
Absolutely. I just saw him.
I remember playing at a fraternity house in Bloomington, and Asher was playing, what was his name? Pure Funk.
Pure Funk, yep.
They were playing next door to me, and I kept hearing him go, well, I bet you people are happy that you're over here listening to Pure Funk instead of listening to the Mason Sisters.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Were there actually Mason brothers in the band?
No, I don't even know that name. The
That's
band
weird.
was what happened. That band was well established and worked every weekend, and there was an interchangeable amount of guys in that band. And finally, me and a guy named Dave and my old guitar player Larry Crane, and there was 4 of us, and we occupied that space for a couple of years, and then I got a record deal. And
You could have been Johnny Mason.
no, I know. Listen, I realized early on that I was not going to be part of a band. You know, we're going to vote on stuff. No. No. We're not voting on stuff.
He has his own country. He's not going to be having a band.
I noticed your wonderful
ask
keyboard player.
Troy, what do I say to the band about there's only room for one? You can say
One
it.
singer.
No, one.
One.
No, yeah, we know that.
Yeah, I can't say it.
I can't. I've looked at the band for years, and I said, "Look, guys, here's the
Here
deal.
we go.
Get ready.
Get ready to push the button. The button.
Go ahead, I'll find a button. We got to take a break. Could we come back with what you're going to be?
Take 2 seconds.
Okay.
I always just say one thing. Look, guys, let's not forget who the asshole in the band is. It's me.
3, 2. Okay, I got it. We're coming right back with John. Can we do one more song before you leave? Do you feel like doing one more? Or maybe?
Yeah, I'll do
Good.
another
Okay, good. John Mellencamp's our guest. This is the Bob and Tom Show.
9:48 at Q95. It's the Bob and Tom Show.
We're talking with comedian John Mellencamp and the lovely Carmen Lynch. She is in Bloomington at the Comedy Attic, one of the best clubs in the country. And she'll be there for a couple shows tonight and a couple shows tomorrow. John Mellencamp's going to be taking the band out for a big tour this summer with Emmylou Harris and Carlene Carter and more. We'll give you some details. Now we're going to talk with John again in just a few seconds, actually. So we'll get back to the action. This is the Bob and Tom Show. Let me see, where are we? We are in the Napa Auto Parts Studios, and our guest is comedian Carmen Lynch and the musician John Mellencamp. And I think we're going to get a song out of John in just a second.
All right.
A couple of things we have to take care of. First off, Christy Lee,
Yes, sir.
how's the foot?
Fine.
Christy's in a cast with a broken leg.
That's the
being
most...
chased by a man in Italy.
Yeah,
So
boy.
if you don't want to drive somewhere, you know how you
Ciao,
can get there,
Bella.
don't you?
Uber? You call the Uber, don't you?
call
There you
Uber,
go.
yes.
Get your
Darn
side
right.
hustle on, drive with Uber. That's what Esther did. I just been
Yep.
handed her story. She spends quality time with her family now, still earns some extra cash by driving with Uber. When no one's coming and tell her when to work, she can do it whenever she wants because that's how it works. Take the day off, Esther. It's okay with us. Turn on the app when you want to work, turn it off when you don't. Our favorite part is Uber's instant pay. You can get paid 5 times a day. That'd be nice, Christy.
Yeah, it would.
Click a button, you'd get your paycheck.
Oh, don't have to wait
Yes.
for 2 weeks or whatever.
There you go. I spend quality time with your family. Do what you want to do it your way. Just like Esther, drive with Uber. Go to uber.com/drive now. Every day can be payday. That's uber.com/drive now. Let's get back to the action.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's
Hi.
gorgeous. It's
Aw,
Carmen
thanks.
Lynch, and she speaks at least 2 languages.
2, yeah. Hola. That's the other one.
There you go. John Mellencamp is here with us, along with Troye Kinnett on the keyboards over there. You guys going to do one more, too?
Wait a minute. I speak 2 languages. I speak jive.
Oh, nice. The movie Airplane, ladies and gentlemen.
And now here's John Mellencamp with the song aside.
I speak jive. Oh, God, that's such a great
Oh,
album.
man.
What do we got?
We're going to do a song called, that song I talked about earlier, Easy Targets.
Great.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Oh, I got to put headphones on. Yeah, okay, good. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, go. Here's an easy target with just one quiet pop. Shot to hell anyway, no reason to stop. The streets and the gutters and the cotton fields in this land. Here's an easy target with a trigger in your hand. So, Black Lives Matter, who you trying to kill? Here's an easy target, never matter, they never did. Crosses burning such a long time ago. 400 years, and we still won't let it go. let the poor be damned, the easy targets too. All are created equal, equally beneath me and you. Children crying under a timekeeping sun. The war on easy targets, we won't ever get this done. Easy targets along the avenue. Living here in Sucker Town, baby, just me and you. Behind the bars to keep each other apart. Easy targets, a country's broken heart. A country's broken heart.
All right. Wow. Very well done. Troye Kinnett on the keyboards. John Mellencamp, one of the songs from John's new project. Thank you very much. This is the Bob and Tom Show.
Hi, it's 10:01 at Q95. It's the Bob and Tom Show after party.
It is a big party today.
Special
That is a big
edition.
It's literally, we're smoking today.
Yeah.
The after party with John Mellencamp. Once again, we're reliving old times when the atmosphere smelled like someone else's cigarettes. I kind of like it. It's been
Back
a
in the
while.
day when you and Bob both smoked in the
Yeah,
studio.
I remember those days.
That never happened. We have weather forecast.
Wait a minute. I remember that.
Yep.
Q95 weather, your favorite friend right now is your sump pump. Rain, windy, and a high of 55. Rain overnight, low 40. Rain early on Saturday, variable cloudiness later in the day, 58. Plenty of sunshine on Sunday, high 60. And weather brought to you by McDonald's.
One of the weird things about thinking about some of the old times, I remember we did a show once from the Shack, and John and the band were there. And during one of the breaks, John Mellencamp, by the way, is our guest.
Yes.
John rushed over to Mark Patrick, who was at the time hosting the most popular lottery show in the country.
Yeah.
John rushed over there and wanted to get a bunch of information from Mark because a member of your family was a huge fan of the lottery show. Do you remember that?
Nope.
I don't remember, what was that name again?
Mark Patrick?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't know who it is.
It was really funny. I think maybe your mom was a big fan of that show, and you wanted to know about some. Remember they used to do a very elaborate show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the Hoosier Lottery that they stopped doing I guess a long time ago.
Weren't they supposed to do something special with that money, like put it back in the community?
I just wish they'd pave the road near my house.
Or the one out here.
Out here, it'd be good. Good start.
They're paving 37.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure are.
They're paving the hell out of it.
Did you remember the story we had last year? There was a road in Canada that they had been fixing for like 40 years, and they finally had a huge celebration.
Well, isn't the Chicago Skyway under perpetual construction, right?
Could be.
Well, the bridge from Detroit to what's that town right across the river?
Windsor?
Yeah, to Windsor.
Yeah.
It's been falling down, but it's owned by a private individual, and they've been trying to build. United States and Canada have been trying to come to some kind of conclusion on having their own bridge, so that it's not owned by an individual. That's falling down.
Welcome to Dave's Bridge. How are you?
Yeah.
Some damn guy.
Yeah.
That's weird. Our guest is John Mellencamp. John, do you know when you're going to be playing? Are you playing indoor, outdoor? What is your schedule?
This is the first time I've played outside in 15 years. I mean, I did a tour with Dylan, and we played some ballparks, me, Willie, and Bob. But I don't like playing outside. But they talked me into it. It took them 7 years, and I said, okay, I'll play some shows outside. I just don't like playing outside. Doesn't sound good. You know, the audience.
Of all of the venues, people I have talked to across the country have always said that sonically, what used to be called Deer Creek and is now the Klipsch Music Center, sonically is one of the very best. They also say that for you guys backstage, I guess the load in is easy, the load out is easy. There's big.
I don't know about such things. I just show up and sing. That's really, I mean, Troy, I tell you, I mean, we've got this down so much that I can go to a town or a country and take just like 25 steps on the ground in that country, you know, because I'll get off the plane, get in a car, go to the hotel, so on, and then to my Airstream, to the stage, back, and, 40 steps, and that's how much time I was in Belgium.
Do you?
Man.
Let me ask you this, Troy. Is that mic on over there?
Yeah.
Do you sometimes see John for the first time as he walks on stage for the first time?
Most of the time when we're on tour, that's the way it goes.
Several days.
Yep.
No, yeah. The only time I see the band is when I'm on stage.
Yeah, I have I had the opportunity to see McCartney, and Paul McCartney did this special live rehearsal. You get to watch him rehearse, and it was very clear when Mr. McCartney walked in that he hadn't seen the band for like 2 weeks. He walks out, they're all telling jokes. And then he looks over at McCartney. There's about 300 people, and he looks out and he goes, "Oh, hello." Like he didn't know he was going to be there. Yeah. And there was a little kid dressed like the famous McCartney suit in the Sgt. Pepper's cover. And McCartney says to him, he says, "Hold that kid up so I can see him." And he goes, "He has no idea why he's wearing that suit, and it's probably going to be 20 years before he understands, and by then no one will know who I am."
Oh, they'll know.
It was so funny to see, though, that obviously the band, and just like you guys, the band is amazing, but they hadn't seen the artist for quite some time, and it was, "Oh, hey, hi."
Well, I agree with McCartney because, this idea of legacy is really a silly idea, and I'll make my point very easily. Just a few years before all of us were born, the country was jitterbugging to Glenn Miller, and it was as big as rock music ever was. The whole country, we see footage of it. Okay, we're all adults here. Name 4 big bands, and if you can really name 4 big bands, then hum one of their songs. You can't do it. You just can't do it. So if you think that your legacy is going to go on for a long time, there's a few people that their legacy will go on, like maybe, I don't know, O.J. Simpson.
Well,
Yeah, he won't be
for a
forgotten
good
anytime
thing.
soon. Yeah.
But, his
his
legacy
biggest
was
hit?
outside of his sport.
That we're not going to answer on the air.
It was a joke.
Or Sinatra, two similar people.
Make yourself at home, Frank. Hit somebody, as Don Rickles famously
That's
said.
Frank, yeah.
Yeah. So, but very few people, and I, me doing what I do, and I'll talk to guys. Well, I'm playing for my legacy. It's like, what legacy are you talking about?
You're not particularly concerned which of your songs is going to be heard in 100 years.
None. I already know that.
Oh, I don't think so. I think they'll be.
Well, there might be if you come to my grave, because I intend to build a grave that just plays my music outside to keep people away all the time.
It's like the Winslow, Arizona statue that keeps playing the Eagles
you push
song.
a little button and it'll play. Ain't even done with a ninth or just.
Yeah, you play. This is just going to be on loop, Okay. And so they walk up and say, "Oh shit, there's that music." And people walk up and go, "I don't care what they did in the olden days." Who cares about that?
I always think it's interesting because I know you've said this. Other artists will say the same thing. They'll work on a project for a couple years, and they know this is going to be the hit, and it isn't. And the one that was the throwaway that they did at the last minute, or some random song happens to be the one that catches on. And as I said earlier, there are often certain artists will say, "Yeah, we have we flew to Brazil, and we had no idea that we had a #1 hit with this song. We hadn't played it live ever." So you kind of don't have any control over your legacy.
Well, and not only that, you're talking about, decades ago, because today it's like, nobody really makes today's artists like Drake. They don't make records; they put out tracks, track after track after. They don't make albums that are meant to be consumed like a book or a poetry or anything. It's just song after song after song, and that's with streaming, that's the way it's going to be.
Sgt. Pepper's, I think, kind of changed the whole idea of having an album. I mean, the Beatles were singles, and then all of a sudden Sgt. Pepper's came out, and 50 years ago? And people said, "Oh, wow, this is really worth listening to."
Well, there's some truth to that, but, there were guys that were making, Guthrie was making records that were listened to. Odetta was making records that were listened to as whole pieces. Billie Holiday was making records. So there were people that were making albums that were meant to be listened to at all, you know, the whole thing. But today, you know,
No.
I wouldn't.
What body of work
Green Day's American Idiot is probably the last one to
that you've
sort of be
listened to
that.
like that?
Well, that was sort of considered that.
Oh.
You consume it all at once. And
Yeah, and how many years ago was that? 15?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
That was 15 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What body of work are you most proud of? What album?
I can't remember her name.
All right.
She was a body of work, all right.
Body of work.
Do you have a
Smoke show.
No,
John,
seriously.
do you
an
have a
album?
record player at your house?
Yes, I do.
Vinyl?
Yes, I do. And I love vinyl.
Are they all sorted out so you can find them, or is it like the old days
no,
with the
no,
box?
no.
Very organized?
Very organized. I can get to stuff real quickly. But on a convenient level, I listen to CDs on a Bose system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because, you know, with those Bose systems, you can't mess around with the treble and the bass. You can't screw it up. They've already got it set up for you. You know, I always hated taking my records into record company executives because they all had their own big stereo that they had EQ'd for themselves. And you put your record on it and it'd be like, it's like, what the hell do you got going on with your stereo, man? How about let's level these EQs that you don't know how to work out? How about that?
Do you ever throw them on a cassette or a CD when you're making them and get in the car and see how they sound? Just so you can get away from it for a while.
Well, it's interesting. It's a funny story. Cassette players never ran at the same tempo. Close, but they never ran to A440. So you would, it would screw up the artist terribly. It screwed me up all the time because there wasn't CDs yet. And so you would go, and unless you want to take a reel-to-reel, which was kind of the same thing. But the cassettes, you know, you'd record it and you'd take it back and you put it in your boombox in your hotel room or put it in a car, and inevitably that played faster than what you took out of the studio. So then you'd take it back to the studio the next day and you'd go, man, this song seems draggy. Because you got used to listening to it overnight at this sped up speed. And I can't tell you how many records they have an oscillator on a board. You can speed stuff up. I'd walk in the morning and they'd just come and go, how fast you want to play it now? Matter of fact, I got so perturbed. I was making a record called in Los Angeles. And it screwed me up so bad, the different cassette things that I was playing, that I left. I just said, I walked in one day and said, give me my tapes, I'm leaving. They go, you got to pay for your tapes. I said, I'm not paying for my tapes. The record company paid for it, give me my tapes, I'm leaving. So I left and I went to New York. But it wasn't the studio's fault, it was my fault, because the cassettes I was listening to in a car at the guy's house I was staying at, and the ones I was bringing out of the studio. Jack and Diane was that way. I have a song called Jack and Diane, and every time we'd go in the studio, it'd be like, why does this sound so slow? And that's when we discovered that, you know, these things didn't run at the same speed. And it doesn't take, you know, just 1 or 2%, and you can notice, you know, the difference in the speed of the song. So I keep, you know, Jack and Diane was really a ballad. But by the time we got done with it, yeah,
man,
yeah.
Pretty soon it's the Chipmunks.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to be careful when you're on stage and you have to do, say these new songs, for example. To get the tempo right, does your drummer use a click track so that you would get it right?
I think he has a visual thing that he looks at.
So he knows.
And not like Aronoff. Aronoff was like 1, 2, 3, 4, and by the end of the song we were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I used to look at him during the show and give him like the mean face, and to be like,
He's giving me the mean face.
Slow down.
because he'd get so excited, you know, because he'd boom, boom, bop, boom, boom. I could feel it. It's just like, okay, now I can, you know, because when you're singing, you know, you're singing at a certain tempo, and then all of a sudden you feel yourself like rushing, and you can't find the, because I always like to sing on the backside of the beat because that's cool, you know. I always thought guys that sang on the backside of the beat were cool, so I learned how to sing on the backside of the beat. But with Kenny, there was no backside. You couldn't find the backside because he was changing it all the time. And I still, to this day, I just played with Kenny down in Nashville. There were, Willie Nelson had a thing for Merle Haggard, and a whole bunch of people did this thing a couple, 3 weeks ago. and Kenny was in the house band, and it was just me. Who'd I play with? Me and
Mike and Miriam. Mike, Miriam.
It was terrific. I saw it on CMT. It was amazing.
White Line Fever.
Yeah, we played Line Fever, and Kenny was there, and so we asked him to play tambourine, and I walked out on stage, and I just looked at him, and I said, "Don't speed up, man. We got this down, and if you screw this up by getting in front of the beat, I'm going to kill you." He goes, "I don't do that anymore."
Now, do you have a way when you go on stage? Let me give this example. Sometimes if I go to a movie and I'm in the wrong mood, I can't enjoy the movie. Do you have a way to clear your head so if you're not in the right mood to do a live concert, you can go out and do it and be good and feel good about it?
Yeah, I'm heavily sedated. Heavily sedated, usually.
There's no ritual or you don't smoke 3 cigarettes and turn around 3 times.
No.
Have you ever gone on stage in a bad mood?
Oh, yeah. You walk on, I'm sure she can testify to this, that you walk on stage and, like I said, being on stage is why you're there. That's why people pay money to see you do it, and you realize that responsibility. I have a responsibility to put me at the dressing room. So when I leave the dressing room, it doesn't matter how I feel or these people they're going to get the best show that I can possibly provide them. And that's my job. So, if I can't suck it up and tough it out for, 2 hours a night, what the,
Will the band know if they're getting not happy, John? Do you guys know?
Not on stage.
After the show sometimes. I've never called you in. Have I?
It's been a while.
This seems like an unpleasant moment.
Not just me personally.
I don't remember
but we got
calling
the whole
you in.
band. No, not just me. I've never been called in.
I always just talk to Andy and Mike. If I have a problem, I call Andy and Mike in. I say, okay, here's what needs to happen, and those guys relay it to the band.
Have they ever said anything to you? Have they ever said, "Hey, John, that your guitar was playing wasn't really up to speed tonight"?
Oh my God!
Well, yes.
Just ask
once. Yeah.
The late.
No. The truth of the matter is that we were playing at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. That's how old this is. The Spectrum. They tore that place down like maybe 250 years ago. Anyway, we were playing the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and I hear this racket. I thought, what the hell? Who is making this noise? And I looked over at Mike, and Larry Crane was in the band at the time. I looked over at Mike, and I looked over at Larry and gave him that look, and they both just kind of went. It was you, John. So ever since then, I'm very quiet on stage because then I don't want to hear myself play, because it's just like I got other stuff to do. I'm singing. I'm trying to remember the words, and so playing guitar and singing is
It's like walking and chewing gum. It's hard to do, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not like.
I'm kidding. It was a joke.
Hold on for a second. Yeah, you're the one with the broken leg. You ought to know.
Yeah. Want 2 of them?
Yeah. You're the one with the broken leg, you drunk.
Yeah, that's me.
Sorry about that.
That happens.
Let me ask you, I want to go back about 14 topics here. Do you remember the first record you ever bought?
Yeah, I do.
Which was it a 45?
Yeah.
What was it?
Chubby Checker and the Twist. Come on, baby, let's do that. I'm going to brag here. I won the Twist contest in Seymour, Indiana, with a girl named Tracy Evans, and in the window of the dime store.
Wow,
That's impressive. What'd you win? Do you remember the prize?
Yeah, I got to make out with Tracy.
Crazy effort. He said that.
How about that?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
How about that? I think we were like 9.
Cool.
I think we were the youngest contestants, and people thought we were cute. That's why we won.
Do you remember the first album you bought?
Yeah, I think so. Because I broke my arm coming home with it. I saved up. The old man would not give me money for rock music, so I had to save up my own money, which was really stealing it off his dresser.
But you can't steal it all at once.
Yeah, of course. It's a process.
It's a slow process.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a process.
Very much a process.
Slow process. A quarter here, a dime there.
I don't know that story.
Hi, Richard.
Yeah. So anyway, I was riding my bicycle back, and I had a wreck on my bike and broke my arm. But the album was intact.
And what was it?
I think it was a Rolling Stones first album. Never was much of a Beatles fan.
Oh.
Well, there goes my story.
Well, the problem with the Beatles was, it's like, I said it, I was doing an introduction of, I think it was the Lemon Spoonful or somebody at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. McCartney was sitting out there, and I go, Paul, I hate to tell you, but this guy was writing about Summer in the City, and you were talking about, and I want to hold your hand. I mean, really.
Wow. My first song, and thanks for asking.
God, no.
I got it right here.
No.
Oh, all right. You're going to play this, huh?
Hey, look. Mr. Mellencamp is
We've
all
sat
about
here a long
truth.
time. Why do you have to do this for him?
This is the truth. This is the first I remember buying. I bought this 45 at Woolworth's on Van Aken Boulevard in Shaker Heights, Ohio.
Could you be a little bit more exact, please?
No, I just the details make the truth come out of this story. This is the song that I bought.
Don't encourage him.
It's now. Hang on a second. This gets weird. It was the band was the Rivingtons.
I thought it was the Trashmen.
That's
stole
Surfing
it.
Birds.
They stole that.
Which I think is a superior song. But
It's cultural theft. So there's a coda to this story. It was the band is the Rivingtons. I remember the flip side was called Deep Water, and I believe it was a gospel tune. I met some people last summer at this event, and they introduced me to their child. I had one of my babies with me. There are so many of them. And we were doing baby stories, and they said their kid was named Rivington. And I said, well, then you must be familiar with the famous Rivington song.
God, and you know what they thought when you said that? How do I get out of this conversation?
Why did I come out today?
This is...
Why don't I go home?
See, John is once again regretting coming to our show. This is the other version.
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird.
That sounds like
a meth anthem.
Hold on.
just was going to say that.
Hold on for a second. See, they were listening to cassettes.
That's what I was going to say.
exactly.
They were listening to cassettes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have solved the world's problems.
This is really dragging.
But to ruin the story, then the first album I ever bought was Meet the Beatles.
Yeah,
No,
I had an older brother who bought that record, too. We kind of went, way to go, Joe.
Enjoy your Beatles, Joe.
Get used to the Beatles because this is the 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper's, and it's going to be everywhere because they've remixed it, and it'll be all summer long. You'll be seeing.
Now, do you really believe
hearing
that?
about it. That what? That they remixed it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's his name's son? It's help me
George
here.
Harrison's son?
No.
Listen,
John Lennon?
George Martin's son who did that whole
Lenny?
Vegas thing.
What's his name?
here's the dirty, ugly secret.
Uh-oh.
When CDs were first came out, there was all this hype of the record. Record companies lie.
Is this the fact that
don't tell anybody, but
they charged more, but it actually cost them less?
They lie. Anyway, they would hype up. You can hear real sound and blah. And they would put these CDs out of my records, and I would go, where are they getting the material to do this? Because I have the masters.
Oh.
So, where's the great quality? Because I have the master tape in my vault. Mm-hmm. What the hell are you guys using? So what they were using was like, a safety, which is made like a second generation, and then telling the public that this is really great, and,
Also, there were actually cases in which they took a vinyl record and just
put it on the thing.
So, I think the most famous horrible CD in the beginning, the Springsteen album, Born in the USA, I believe, was the one that they got. They tried to get it out quick, and it was really poor quality.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Four-Way Street.
Now, that I wonder if since so far every story that I've told you about you haven't remembered, which makes me look really good. We were in the other studio once, and I said to you, hey, John, you can never put out a live album, and you said 3 words, Four-Way Street.
Wow,
do you remember that?
Yeah, what a spirit killer that was, right?
Yeah, that was not a good live album.
It was terrible. And I've told all those guys that.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're kind of, we could have done better.
God, I do love Neil, though. I think his parts were certainly the best.
Well, you know, Neil is so prolific, and you know, we do Farm Aid every year, and every year him and I always have to. It's we do this press conference, and as we're walking on stage, it's me, Willie, Neil, and Dave Matthews, and I just look at Neil and I go, "Let me talk before you," because once Neil talks, there's nothing else to say. Because he does a filibuster where he covers every topic that Farm Aid's about and says it better than I can say it, more cleverly than I can say it, and more intensely than I'll say it. So it's like, let me talk first and I'll get my junk out of the way, then you can have the floor.
And I don't know how those four guys can be in the same room together, let alone on stage. But
who's that?
What four guys?
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Oh, I thought you were talking about those four. I was like, he's sitting right here.
You're trying to throw me under the bus about the girlfriend thing from 5 minutes ago.
Oh, whatever.
John Mellencamp is our guest, in case you didn't figure that out. And do you guys want to play one more? Or you what works for you? This is your party. Do you know where? Do we know the date of the Indianapolis show? Anybody?
There isn't one.
Well, good. So we'll be giving those tickets away.
Well,
Never.
They're in Ohio and Illinois and
ties that up.
Wisconsin and other places nearby. If
Let me just remove my foot from.
Oh, you know what I might play? I might play Life is Short. Which of you guys rather hear, an old one or a new one? Old one.
You mean Life is Hard?
Life is Short.
Oh, I like Life is Hard. Okay.
Life is hard.
From Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky, Life is Hard. Okay.
What is that? Real quick before you play.
I'll play an old one.
You don't. Okay, cool.
Take it, Jack. Elvis would have been there. Well, I was born in a small town and live in a small town. Probably died in a small town. Oh, the small communities. And all my friends, it's a small town. My parents live in the same small town. My job is a small town. Provides a little opportunity. Educated in a small town. Taught to fear Jesus in a small town. Used to daydream in that small town. Another woman romantic, that's me. If I seen it out in this small town. Had myself a bow in this small town. Married an LA doll and brought her to this small town. That small town, just like me. No, I cannot forget from where it is that I come from. And I forget the people who love me. I can be myself here in this small town. People let me be just what I want to be. Nothing against a big town. Man, it's still hazy enough to say, look who's in the big town. But my bed is in a small town. Oh, that's good enough for me. I was born in a small town, and I can breathe in a small town. Probably die in a small town. Oh, that's probably where the bury me.
Wow,
This kid could play anything.
We've known Troy since the days of Todd Schaefer
10:01.
and 10:01. And on this show, every time it's 10:01, we used to always go, it's
I almost
10:01.
did that
Do you know
today
where
because
Todd
Todd
Schaefer
Schaefer
is?
is.
I almost did that.
Todd one day dropped by. We hadn't seen him in many, many years.
What's 10:01?
It was the band
Band
that
I was in the 80s.
There's a local
Used to
band.
see Christy.
Yeah.
we'd introduce
Sure.
them all the time. Troy,
Oh,
I
was
was.
that band you guys wore high heels in? Short,
No, but I
short
could-
skirts.
You wore. I can remember you wearing like shiny silk pants.
I know.
Probably,
I had
yeah.
to. I had to, like you say, Troy. That's not going to make it in my band.
Everything comes back around eventually, though.
No shiny pants here, man.
I want to say real quick. How do you feel when people come up to you and say, "This is my favorite song," whatever it may be? I mean, if I were to tell you what my favorite songs are, it probably wouldn't be the hits, actually. But do you? What's your response to that? Do you like to hear that?
I just say thank you. You know, because it's about them. It's not about me.
Does it surprise you sometimes when they say?
No, not really. It is surprising me if they come up with some obscure song, but generally people.
Because I think they're trying to be nice.
Yeah.
They're trying to be.
They're
Hey,
just
listen.
trying. Look, it's all about selfies. It's all about them. Hey, I saw Paul McCartney.
Right,
and
thank you.
I saw this person. So it's really all about them, and I realize it's not really about me. I'm just the monkey on the string to talk about.
Have you ever said it to another artist?
Never. I've never asked for an autograph. I just never.
If you like a particular song, do you say to another artist, by the way, in your new record I really like?
Well, I will tell you a funny story. Bob Seger called me up and asked me to come to his show, and so I go to his show, and he didn't play Ramblin' Gambling Man, and I became a fan. The show was over. I went back to his dressing room and said, "You didn't play Ramblin' Gambling Man?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't play that song anymore." So that's the only reason I came. Sing it for me now.
Do it.
Yeah, let's. And so we both kind of went, "I want to tell my tale. Come on." Yeah.
With Glenn Frey on backup vocals.
Yeah.
When Glenn Frey, did you know that?
No, I didn't.
That's Glenn Frey. If you listen carefully, that is Glenn Frey. They were both from Detroit, and Glenn was in.
Well, let me tell you
Some
something.
weird
I'll tell you a
band.
funny story, a really funny story. It happened at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm at a table with me, Jan Winter, the guy that owns Rolling Stone, Jagger, Henley, and Yoko Ono, and some kid I didn't know, and some other asshole kid I didn't know what band he was in. But they were inducting. Seeger, and this kid was like kind of drunk and kind of all over the place. And every time that Seeger spoke, this kid had some smart remark. Well, Henley and Seeger are big buddies. I mean, I know Bob and I like Bob, but we don't hang out together.
Mm-hmm.
But Henley did. And so finally, Henley started to fight with this guy, and I had to grab Henley like that and go, "Don, you can't really whip anybody, right?" So if you keep fucking around here, I'm going to be in a fight trying to defend you.
That's right.
Because this kid is about 6'3" and is going to whip your ass. And I understand you standing up for Bob and this guy's smart aleck comments. But, you really can't whip anybody. This isn't the Eagles. You're not the boss. Everything kind of went like that.
Yeah.
And then finally, Jan came to his senses and moved the kid away. But I think the kid was a friend of Yoko Ono's, one of her weird kids.
Wow. I'm trying to think. I think Fire Lake is the one that the Eagles are singing. I think it's Glenn Frey and Don Henley in the background of the song Fire Lake.
Against the Wind, I think.
Is that the one?
Might-
yeah, I think
might be
they sang
another one, or-
on a few of the songs.
Listen, there's nobody happier to be on stage than Bob Seger. He just
He's
loves it.
great.
And he's got a big smile on his face.
I worry about Don Henley not being happy enough with life. He's been in here. He's a really good friend.
He
He's
can
the
be-
best friend of a friend of ours.
Now, he is a curmudgeon.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they asked me to go on tour with them.
Uh-oh. Don't tell me the name of the tour.
No, it was going
Start
to
with an A?
be. It was going to be. It was going to be a co-headline with me and Henley, right? And it was just like, I don't think I want to do that because somehow, I don't know how that would work, I would end up working for Don. I just knew that some way or another it was going to be mixed around between him and his manager. I was going to be like, the guy who does, I was going to be their employee somehow.
Yeah. I like Don very much, by the way.
Oh, I do too. I get along with Don, and we laugh, and he's a total gentleman. And like I said, I saved him getting his ass kicked one night. So I'm sure he hasn't forgot that.
John Mellencamp's been our guest. John has a new album out there, and it's great. And you can find out more. But the title, Sad Clowns and Hillbillies. Were you called a hillbilly when you were a kid? This is an awkward question.
Well, the first time I went to New York, I remember walking into the record company, and the guy said, "You sound like a hillbilly." And I said, "No, you sound like a hopped-up Easterner."
Well, there we go. Sad Clowns and Hillbillies.
You sound a little bit like a hopped-up Easterner now that he says that.
A little pretentious and snooty, sure.
Okay, here we go. I'll tell you the story very quickly.
Okay.
I was going to college in New York City. I was in a gigantic linguistics class. I don't know what the word linguistics means, but thank you. And the professor handed me a piece of paper after saying, "Is anybody from Northern Ohio?" I raised my hand. He handed me these. Read this list of words. And I read them, and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, that's American broadcast English." So I can't help it. It's just that's just where. And if you know this, John, you travel anywhere in the United States, you turn on the news in Denver or Phoenix or El Paso or Boston, and it's pretty much everyone sort of speaking.
And now the news.
Yeah.
Well, but okay, but I have to say that in the 70s when I first started touring, there was definitely parts of the country that were, hey.
Hi, y'all.
Yeah. And
on the news?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When you watch the local news. But, I really miss that. That's, owning, again, the FCC, not doing their job, allowing, these conglomerates to take over. But, there was a certain charm to being in the South and being in New Orleans and being in the Northeast. And everybody kind of dressed differently and talked differently. And it was kind of like going to it, but now it's just like, I was in London a few weeks ago, and it was just like, I'm in Los Angeles with funny accents. If you wake an English guy up, they talk just like us,
right? Yeah, they hit their thumb with a hammer. They don't go, ouch.
Okay.
Goodness me.
Good day, sir.
Okay, I'll prove my point. When they sing, they sound just like us, right?
He's right.
Yeah.
So when you wake them up and before they get pretentious, they sound just like us.
There's the word pretentious. I am losing this argument, I think, very slowly.
Yeah.
John Mellencamp's our guest. The new album, Sad Clowns and Hillbillies. And before we go, one more quick thing. I forgot about this. Front row tickets, WWE SummerSlam, Monday, June 19th at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Right now, ninth caller, 317-239-1095. It's Free Beer Friday. We'll also include a gift card, apparently. $20 gift card from 21st Amendment. Buy yourself a beer if you are so inclined. Thank you very much. Thanks, John. Well, great pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you also, Troye Kinnett. Nice job, Troye.
You don't care to hear my dissertation on not drinking?
Go ahead.
No, I'm teasing.
What were you? Real quick, we have another minute. Were you ever a marijuana guy?
I quit drinking and drugging in 1971 because
71? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was my son's spec. I would get drunk and I was in a fight. I mean, my girlfriend to this day says, "John, you can be real nice to me, and I know you're in the elevator, and as soon as the door closes, you're going to fight with yourself." So, getting a fight in an elevator by myself. So you add alcohol to that, and it was just like, and I got tired of getting beat up. You get tired.
Did you ever win?
Well,
please give me the name of somebody.
I got one time I got in a fight with Chicago Molly. You know who Chicago Molly is? No. She's a real famous groupie, and she beat the shit out of me. And hold on for a second.
She's tough, though.
Yeah, Chicago Molly was tough.
Yeah, sure.
She was tough, so I got Wanchek, and so we went back.
Mike Wanchek.
Check him out. Anyway, so I go back and get Wanchek because he was like the second toughest guy in the band. So we go back to fighting Chicago Molly. Now, she was bigger than you. You were a shrimp compared to her young lady.
I'm small bone.
Anyway, but she had this old gray-haired woman that beat the shit out of me in one shake both. That's how tough I was. Chicago Molly beat the hell out of me.
I got to get Wanchik in here and ask him about that.
The legacy of music.
No, listen. If you guys were on the line, I could tell stories on Wanchik that you would absolutely cry.
We could do a special slander-free show.
Out of all the guys in my band, he has done the most idiotic, most ridiculous stuff than any guy that maybe I've ever known in my life.
If he were here, he'd go, no, John, I don't know about that.
That's saying a lot.
I love the fact that girls always, when they go, he's so nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's all an act.
On that note, thank you, John Mellencamp. The new album is Sad Clowns and Hillbillies, and John may or may not be coming through town this summer. What's the nearest venue, do you know, Christy?
I was looking at dates, and there's Ohio, Illinois, a few dates.
Worth getting in the car.
Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. Thanks, John. Thanks, Carmen.
Thank you.
Carmen Lynch on stage tonight at the beautiful Comedy Attic in Bloomington.
And tomorrow night.
Yeah, don't miss it.
Oh, that's
I
right.
would love to come,
Please
Carmen.
come.
I know I would love to, but
He's on house arrest.
I'm on double secret.
You can just hang out in the green room. It'll be fine.
That'd even be worse. So let me see.
hiding, John?
You didn't even go to the show. You went to the green room, huh? No, I'm not going.
Okay, good.
I would love to. Well, maybe I could see you someplace else.
You have a new album, don't you?
Yes, I do. Dance Like You Don't Need the Money.
I love the title.
Thank you.
I do too. That's cute.
Did you ever dance for money?
No, but I like to change quotes around. Like instead of dance like, what is it? Nobody's watching.
Watching, yeah.
I think it's eat like nobody's watching. Dance like you don't need the money. I like to change.
Kiss me like a stranger.
Do we have time? Just do like a short little routine.
Oh boy. It's okay. It's not going to be funny.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
I like.
We'll all laugh. I
Okay, I believe in Jesus, just in case he's real, I just don't want to get to heaven and be like, oh my God, I totally didn't think you were going to be here. This is so awkward. It's just hard to believe in Jesus because, there's so many miracles, like it sounds fake. And 12 apostles, I mean, who has 12 friends, like have like 4 apostles and then like 3 other ones who almost never show up. That's more real. And I do believe in Jesus, mostly when there's turbulence, because we're in his area. You're supposed to. It's the J zone.
That is the J zone.
Nicely done, Carmen.
Do you know that comedian? What's his name? He's from Australia.
Jim Jeffries.
Oh, Jim Jeffries.
Really?
He was here.
So
he
great.
He does a funny thing about going to heaven. And he goes, I don't want to really go to heaven, what are you going to see? You're going to be seeing your grandparents. Have you ever spent a weekend at your grandparents' house? Sucks. And then you got to go, hi, Grandma, how you been? Hi, Grandpa, how you been? Oh, hi, Uncle George. How'd you get in here? Remember when you used to touch me up?
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You work for the church.
On that note.
Sorry about all that masturbating, Mom. On that note, thanks, John. Thank you, Carmen. We're going to check out. This is the Bob and Tom Show.